It has been a long while since I shared some artwork or anything about the importance of creativity in general. Art, music, dance, literature, all of these are not just interesting or cool, but a vital benefit to so many aspects of life. Of course, I experience it personally as an artist, but I've also witnessed a significant impact on others, especially students I've worked with over the years. Anyway, I thought I'd just freestyle some painting, just sketches really, stream of consciousness doodling, and share some thoughts along the way. So there have been a few people on my mind for the past 3 years, and especially the last few months, whose work and words I've been going back to for guidance. James Baldwin, Audre Lorde, Nina Simone, who insisted that artists reflect our times, and Marcus Garvey, who insisted that we become our own solution. I think, anyway, the message that Marcus Garvey shared above all else was one of self-determination, mainly through economic empowerment, so that African people throughout the diaspora could realize our personal and collective sovereignty. This, during segregation, this idea of building our own table instead of fighting for a place at someone else's table. Especially now when our beloved elders, who spent their entire lives facing the worst of this fight for our sake, as they're making their transition and we take up the challenge. At the start of this summer, I was thinking about making art or making use of my work, my skills, any resources I have to talk about the trauma, the rage, the pain, the PTSD that African people are experiencing due to the terror of systematic racism. Not too long after I started thinking about this, I received an opportunity to do just that. I'm currently working within a program focused on youth-led activism, in which we're using art, rather the creative process of making art, to help young people express their point of view and share their research, which to me is the Nina Simone inspiration, as well as to imagine solutions for a better future, which to me is the Marcus Garvey inspiration. So for me, it feels really like a complete circle. And as I've been having these conversations lately, as I've been thinking about these things lately, and seeing how they might relate personally, even as I'm looking at these political movements and these figures in history, I'm thinking about just daily interaction with these concepts. And a sense of balance, I think, is what I'm looking for here. And I get that balance through the creative work all the time, never misses. Even though I miss time with it, when I engage it, when I'm just even participating in the smallest way, it always gives me everything I need. Whenever I'm creating, for real, I'm free. I'm free to define myself on my own terms. I'm free to go deeper into who I actually am and not take on someone else's version of me. I'm free to seek out my ancestors and express my heritage so I can see myself more clearly, speak my truth raw, and access my own mind. So my table is my creative work, which is the mindset shift, the recognition of my own power, my healing, my refuge. And the gifts are endless, way more than I can even say here. Moments of creative meditation allow me space to really consider what's going on. Because we have to share this world together, we do need to make space for one another. There is such a thing as justice, and that struggle, that fight, should never be abandoned. But I'm always looking for balance. There is room for both of these to exist, I think. The right to access existing space, and at the same time, the drive to create our own spaces. What we're talking about these days, however, is a lot deeper and more grave than this. What we're talking about is extending humanity to one another so that people can just get home safely. Being able to look at a fellow human being as a fellow human being and not part of some club, some construct that separates us from one another to such a degree that you can't even see yourself there. Art is so much more valuable than most people realize. In the States especially, we treat the arts like luxury, and it's just not. It's such a natural part of our humanity. When the pandemic took hold, when the stress, anxiety, depression, and everything else that was dormant rose to the surface, folks went straight to music, film, writing. People took dance classes online just to get centered, get their mind right, for healing. I was thinking, since all of this started, I was thinking at some point eventually that I'd like to share thoughts about the importance of, well, the need really to just breathe and find some ways to incorporate art and music. And as I'm making my own work, which is rapidly changing, and it must in light of everything, I'm also making available creative resources right now that have been a great support to me during these challenging times. A form of joyful resistance as I think about it. As I'm making new pieces and experimenting with different materials and approaches, I'll share a little something, give a sense of where the work is coming from and what's inspiring it. So yeah, in the meantime, I'll continue to just think about these things, let them mull around a little bit, and continue to dig in and express it through the work. As I shared recently, this is home to me. Creativity, art is truly home.